Hi everyone. In this presentation, we are going to see about fungicides. Before going into the topic, let me introduce myself. I'm Achya from 3rd year BTech Biotechnology. Okay, let's move on to the topic. Fungicide. What is meant by fungicide? From the name itself, you may know. Fungi, it's one of the microorganism. Sites. Sites means it have the capability to kill. So, fungicides are the biocidal chemical compounds that are used to kill parasitic fungi or the spores produced by them. Fungicides are chemicals that have the ability to reduce or prevent the damage caused by fungi in plants. The first fungicides was developed against Botrytis cinerea. It is one of the fungal species. Next, we are going to see about the history of fungicides. Prior to 1882, the disease caused by fungi are controlled using elemental sulfur and copper. From 1882 to 1934, the disease are controlled using organometallics. In 1934, this period was known as modern era of organic fungicides, in which we have used dithiocarbamates to produce fungicides. In 1943, EBDC fungicides are introduced. The expansion of EBDC is ethylene bisdithiocarbamate. Before mid-1960s, fungicides were used as protectives. From mid-1960s to 1980s, fungicides were introduced with systemic and curative effects. From 1980s to 1990, sterol inhibiting fungicides were introduced, which are systemic fungicides with both protective and curative activities. Okay, this is the history of fungicide resistance in the world. You can refer this to get a clear idea about the history of fungicide.
Next, classification of fungicides. Fungicides are classified under 6 categories based on the mobility in plants, role in the protection of plant, on basis of metabolic activity, mode of action, and based on the chemical group and frat code.
Now we see briefly about these 6 classification. First one, based on the mobility in plants. Under this category, there are 2 types, contact fungicide and systemic fungicide. After applying the fungicide, if the chemicals are not absorbed into the plant tissue and it just remains on the plant where it is applied, then it is known as contact fungicide. In contact fungicide, there won't be any post-infection activity because it is not absorbed into the plant tissue, right? So it doesn't have any post-infection activity. In contact fungicide, 5 types of compounds are used to produce fungicides. The first one is sulfur, second one copper, then mercurial, quinone, and heterocyclic nitrogenous. Next, systemic fungicide. It is just opposite to contact fungicide. In systemic fungicides, the chemicals used in the fungicides are moved into the plant tissue and may have many post-infection activity. It moves through xylem tissue and some are locally systemic within the treated portion of the plant. Under the category of systemic fungicides, 6 types of compounds are used. The first one, acrylamides, second one, benzimidazoles, then carboxymides and dicarboxymides, then strobilurin, then pyrimidines and triazoles. This category based on the role of protection in the plant. Under this category, there are 3 subtypes. First one, preventative activity, then curative activity, then antisporulent activity. First one, preventative activity. It does prevent the establishment of infection. This preventative activity occurs when fungicide present on the plant as a protective barrier before the pathogen arrives or grows. Second type, early infection or curative activity. It occurs when fungicides are absorbed by the plant and it stops the growth of pathogen in early development stage itself, that is before visible symptoms. It occurs within 24 to 72 hours. Okay. Next type, antisporulent activity. It occurs when the spores are being produced by the fungi. Next, classification based on the breadth of the metabolic activity. Under this category, there are 2 types, single-site fungicide and multi-site fungicide. In single-site fungicide, the fungicides are active against any one of the metabolic pathways of a fungus, or it may be against a single critical enzyme or the protein needed by the fungus. Whereas in multi-site fungicide, the fungicides affects number of different metabolic sites within the fungus. Next, classification based on the mode of action. Anybody know how these fungicides are works? Okay, I will tell. These These fungicides kill or suppress a target fungus by damaging the cell membrane of the fungus or inactivating the critical enzymes or protein needed by the fungus, and also by interfering the key process takes place inside that fungus. It may be respiration or energy production process or any other. Under the category of mode of action, there are three types: fumigative, protectant, and systemic. As we all know that fumigative acts as a vapor rather than solid or liquid. Protectant acts as a protective barrier between plant and the agent, that is the fungi. Next, systemic. Systemic, it is taken up by the plant and distributed into the plant system in four ways. First one, acropetal, it is an upward movement. Then basipetal, it is an downward movement. Then symplastic, that move towards the phloem tissue. Next one, ambimobile, that will move towards both xylem and phloem. Classification based on the chemical group or class. It is a set of chemicals that have a common biochemical mode of action, but it may or may not have a similar chemical structure. Next, classification based on the FRAC code. The expansion of FRAC is Fungicide Resistance Action Committee. This FRAC developed a code of numbers and letters that are used to differentiate fungicide groups based on their mode of action. This is how the fungicides are classified under FRAC code. I have just given here first three codes for reference purpose. Okay. First one, benzimidazole carbamide. Second one, dicarboxamide. Third one, demethylation inhibitor. Advantages of using fungicides. Fungicides have low residual effect and it is less harmful to humans and animals. And the diseases are very slow to develop resistance to protectants. And it is effective against a range of diseases. And there won't be more problems with resistance. Coming to the disadvantages of fungicide. As we all know, fungicides kill many fungus. But in addition to that, it kills many beneficial microorganisms. So it is considered as the main disadvantages of using fungicides. Then these fungicides show hazardous effect on human health, and also it leads to water and soil pollution. Some fungi like Penicillium, Aspergillus, etc. show antagonistic effect against specific plant pathogen. Thank you.